The Stone Bride, a legend of love and eternal sorrow. The village beneath the mountain. In the shadow of Mount Nemrut, where the gods of Commagene once stood in stone, there lay a small Kurdish village. The people there lived simple lives, tending to their flocks and orchards, but they whispered of the mountain's curse, a place where the heavens and earth touched, and where mortal sorrow could turn to stone. Among the villagers was a young woman named Zeynep, whose beauty was said to rival the dawn. Her laughter echoed through the apricot groves, and her embroidered dresses shimmered like the Tigris River under the sun. But Zeynep's heart belonged to Dara, a shepherd who carved flutes from reeds and played songs that made even the eagles pause in flight. They had loved each other since childhood, stealing glances at festivals and meeting in secret by the sacred springs. Dara had promised to marry her once he saved enough to buy a herd of his own. But fate, as it often does in such tales, had other plans, too. The warlord's demand. One autumn, as the villagers prepared for the harvest, a warlord named Kamal rode into the valley with his band of mercenaries. He was a fearsome man, scarred by battles, and his wealth came from pillaging the trade routes between Anatolia and Mesopotamia. When he saw Zeynep drawing water from the well, her long hair loose in the wind, he demanded her hand in marriage. Her father, a poor farmer, trembled. To refuse meant death. Not just for him, but for the entire village. Kamal's men had already burned neighboring towns for lesser slights. With tears in his eyes, the father agreed. The wedding was set for the next full moon. Zeynep, shattered, ran to Dara in the hills. They clung to each other under the stars, their tears mixing with the cold mountain air. "I would rather die than be his wife," she whispered. Dara, desperate, proposed they flee that very night. Cross the mountains to Syria, where Kamal's reach could not find them. But Zeynep knew the warlord would slaughter her family in revenge. "There is another way," she said, her voice hollow. "The mountain listens to prayers." 3. The prayer to the old gods. At dawn, while the village slept, Zeynep climbed the slopes of Mount Nemrut. The wind howled like a grieving spirit, and the colossal stone heads of forgotten kings watched her pass. She knelt at the foot of the tomb of Antiochus, where the gods of Commagene, Zeus, Apollo, and Heracles, were carved into the stars. "Hear me," she cried. "I cannot marry where my heart refuses. If you are truly divine, save me. Turn me to stone before I am bound to a tyrant." The wind stilled. Then, from the earth itself, a voice rumbled. Not in words, but in feeling, as if the mountain had absorbed her pain. A choice was laid before her. Flee and doom her village. Submit and live in misery. Or become stone, forever frozen in her sorrow, but free. Zeynep closed her eyes. "Let my body be my protest." The petrification. As the first light of dawn touched the summit, Zeynep's skin began to harden. Her outstretched arms stiffened. Her flowing hair turned to ridges of rock. The villagers, searching for her at daybreak, found her halfway up the mountain. A lifelike statue of a veiled bride, her face tilted toward the heavens, her stone dress billowing as if caught in an eternal wind. Kamal, enraged, ordered his men to smash the statue. But no chisel could mar it, and those who struck the rock soon fell ill, their hands withering like dead branches. The warlord fled, cursing, and was never seen in the valley again. Dara, heartbroken, spent his days sitting beside the stone figure, playing his flute until his lips bled. One winter, he vanished into the mountains, and some say his spirit still wanders, calling Zeynep's name in the wind. The legacy of the Stone Bride. Today, travelers to Mount Nemrut can see the Tash Gelin, Stone Bride, a natural rock formation that eerily resembles a veiled woman. Locals leave small offerings there, coins, ribbons, and sometimes bridal jewelry, praying for love or deliverance from forced marriages. Symbolism in the legend. The veil represents both marriage and the boundary between life and death. Mount Nemrut, a sacred site where human pleas were believed to reach the divine. Petrification, a metaphor for the silencing of women's autonomy, yet also their unyielding resistance. Cultural echoes. The tale mirrors other Anatolian legends of women transformed to escape oppression, such as Niobe, who turned to stone while weeping for her children, from Greek myth but retold in Western Anatolia. The Maiden's Castle, Kıskalesi, where a king petrified his daughter to protect her from prophecy. Vi, a modern reflection. The stone bride is more than folklore. It's a symbol of defiance. In Kurdish and Turkish feminist retellings, Zeynep's choice is celebrated as a refusal to surrender agency, even in death. The rock formation itself has become a pilgrimage site for women seeking strength. As the sun sets over Mount Nemrut, the stone bride's shadow stretches long across the land. Some claim that on quiet nights you can hear a faint melody, Dara's flute, still playing for his lost love. And perhaps in the way the wind sculpts the rock grain by grain over centuries, Zeynep is still whispering her protest to the skies.